guys, welcome back to TBD Reviews. It's been a while. Yeah, I'll go into that in a different video. But today's review has got to be the big fat pig. I'm not calling it what its mark interprets it as. But the FP from Blitz Enterprises and TVP. So let's go down, have a look at it. I will throw a build on there, I think. So yeah, let's head down and have a look. Hi guys, so what we've got on the box, Blitz Enterprises logo at the top. We've got the FP RTA designed by TVP. That is TVP's old logo. Obviously you won't get to TBD Enjoy TVP. You'll have underneath where it says this product contains nicotine, which is a highly addictive substance. I don't understand why they put that on, because people do vape at zero nic. But there we go. On the side we have Blitz Enterprises social media, their Instagram and their Facebook. On the top we have the colour options, black, stainless steel and silver. The other side blank, which they could have put TVP social media on there, in my honest opinion, but that's up to them. The Blitz logo, and then on the back Blitz Enterprises general information. Personally, now I know already that this is obviously version 1 box, and they have changed the box to certain things. On the back it tells you what comes in the box, but I don't think they've added TVP social media on the side or anything like that, which I think is a bit of a letdown, but that's my honest opinion. But if someone's going to design or collab with someone else, I think it should be equal rights on branding. So obviously we have the FP in the box. Removing the top felt, we get an extendable glass, which I'll go through in a second. We get a bubble glass, which is, I forgot what plastic it is, but it basically is plastic, and it does crack with citrusy juices. Some people have even said they've been vaping custards and it's cracked. But on version 2 this has actually been replaced from the plastic type to actual proper glass. Obviously I'll go into more detail on this when we come back up top for the final thoughts. We do get a secondary drip tip, which is a bit of a pain to get out of the box, especially when you've got fingers like mine, which are quite chubby. When they put it into small holes, it doesn't really fit. That's your drip tip. The drip tip will match the bubble glass. Just move that out of the way for a second. It will match the bubble glass. Personally, not a big fan of either of these, but that's my own opinion. It doesn't mean I'm not going to go out and get the glass version of this, because I am. Hopefully the glass version, if I'm being totally honest, I don't like this and I don't like the drip tip because of how it makes the tank look, but I'll leave that to one side so you can see. Now we get on to the tank itself. It is a 30mm tank. It's quite heavy, it's weighted. The barrel, which I'm going to show you up and close in a second, has got FP on it. The tops, again, I'm going to show you up and close. It's got F around the top. Sorry, the barrel got FP on it. The top of the tank has got F's. Bottom has got the P's for grip. It's a 3-stage airflow, which I'm going to zoom in just to let you know. So you can seal the airflow off completely, and then just twisting. Now these are a little bit stiff, but that's your first airflow. If you can tell, it's just there. That's the smallest airflow, and then keep twisting and it gets bigger. So that's your second stage, and that's your third stage, which is quite a big airflow. I think Mark kind of got the idea of that airflow from the Steam Crave Aromizer. On the bottom we do have the FP RTA. We do have the C's and the bin. I have serial number 13, designed by TVP and Blitz. Now, to look inside, I'm going to put the deck away to one side for a second. The threading on the deck is absolutely crazy long. So the deck, right, if you get the version 1, which I don't think you'll be able to anymore because the version 2 is out, which is nothing to do with the deck whatsoever. It's more to do with the glass and screws and stuff, which I'll go over in a second. But the standard glass you get in the UK, just bin it or put it back in the box because it doesn't do anything. But now to that off, I'm going to give you a close-up of the FP itself. Nicely engraved on a knurled barrel. Now, the doming on this isn't that much of a dome going on, but to be honest, with the size of everything, I don't think they could have domed it much more. The reason for knurling on the barrel is so basically when you fill your tank up with juice, because of how thin, which I'll show you on the standard glass because they're the same radius, there's not a lot of room between the barrel and the glass, so that is the gap just there, which you can see isn't a lot at all. But if the barrel was smooth, then I do believe on what Mark said on his presentation video, I do think the juice would have problems. Now Mark has obviously had the prototypes, he's tried the smooth barrel and the no barrels and stuff like that, so I'm going to take his word on it, and I do agree with what he said. This does help. Now, taking the top cap off, which is again another bit of great threading on that, but you get two big kidney ports to fill it up, and they are big. They can accommodate most bottle type tips for dripping your juice in. Sorry, we do get on the top cap. We do get an O-ring on the inside to make the seal with the kidney holes. The drip tip is knurled. Now, is the camera going to pick that up or not? Don't think it is. Hello, camera, wake up. No drip tip. I'm not a big fan of that, but not being funny, it's 810. You can put your own custom drip tips on if you're not a big fan of it. Obviously, plain on top. No markings. Now on the side you do get the F's going around the edge, on the edging for grip. Personally, I would prefer to see a bit of knurling, because if you have got greasy hands, so to speak, because of leaky juice bottles and stuff like that, it does make it a bit tricky to undo. But that's my personal opinion. It's not anything wrong with the tank direct, I just think knurling would have been better. But now comes the interesting bit. The deck. Now the deck has 30 air holes. It has rows of 5x6 or 6x5, whichever way you want to look at it. Two medium size, I'll say medium because I have seen bigger, two medium size cotton ports to put your cotton in. Now this is a GTA deck style RTA, so your cotton can come out the bottom, which is what I do. The clamps on these are fantastic as well. I've not had any breakages, I've not had any problems. Now if I can find where I put my G-class to sit this on, just to show you. Right, for the clamps on this, it is absolutely interesting. I was mind blown, I really was. Can I zoom out a bit more? Yeah. So I've done this in dual coil and single coil. I did prefer the single coil to start off with, and then I swapped back to dual coil just to give it a once over, obviously before this review. And you do get more flavour from the dual coil, but it seems the airflow seems to accommodate the single coil a lot better. Not that I've had any problems with the airflow whatsoever. The clamps on this, to dual coil it, it's literally a plus and a minus, or a positive and a negative on each post. So you'd put a coil leg this side and a coil leg this side, clamp it down, and then obviously your coil is going to sit that way anyway, so then you'd put a coil leg this side and a coil leg this side and clamp it down. Now ideally, if you're going to dual coil it, if you look at the airflow, you have 6 rows of 5. The middle one is slightly, I don't know if it's just mine or if it's my eyesight, but the middle one seems slightly raised up, which to me, I always try and put a big enough gap between both coils if I'm going to dual coil it, and let that come straight through the middle of the coils. So what I'm going to do now is going to put the video on to fast play, and I'm going to coil it. So I'll see you in a sec. So what do I think of it? The only faults I have with it as a whole doesn't affect the tank in itself, if that makes any sense. The only faults I have, and I'm going to go into these, so bear with me. And again, these are all my honest and own opinions of how I see it for myself. So first thing, we're going to start off with the FP on the barrel. Now, I'm not a big fan of the FP on the barrel, but I can kind of relate that to how TVP himself is. He is quite in your face, and I say that in the most respected way possible. It's not an insult or anything. The drip tip, didn't like the drip tip, the no drip tip, that is now in the box. The bubble glass, obviously there's a new version of the bubble glass, it's made out of actual glass now, so I will be getting one of them in to try that. I didn't like the whole plasticky side of it. It just didn't, for me, it just didn't do the tank justice. It made the tank look a bit horrible, but again, that's my own opinion. The grip around the top and the bottom. Now, obviously you've got S around the top and P's around the bottom. I honestly think knurling would have been the way forward on the top and bottom for that extra grip, because if you've got a bit of juice on your hands, or if you're a female and you just moisturise your hands, it can be a little bit slippy. So I don't think there's a lot of grip there, but that's my own personal opinion. I know others will say there's loads of grip there, he doesn't know what he's talking about, but that's my opinion. Flavour on it, fantastic. Can't knock the flavour. I've seen other reviews on this because I'm late to the party, but in some of the reviews, it's you have to get the coiling bang on, you have to get the wicking spot on, this, that, and everything else. Although I agree, I've got to disagree. So it's kind of a agree to disagree, if that makes sense. Now, I've put these coils in, and I do apologise, I did record coiling and wicking it, but for some reason the camera was telling me it was recording like it is now, so fingers crossed this is recording. It was telling me it was recording, but as soon as I checked, it wasn't recording, and I'd already juiced up, filled the whole tank up and everything else. So I do apologise about that, but there are other reviews out there for coiling and wicking. But anyway, getting back to the main point, excuse me. Now, I prefer my coils just under, if you dual coil it, the way I see it is if you look at where the screws are, and just put the coils just, the top of the coil just slightly below the screws. That's my personal opinion and preference. Now, on the version 2 that you can get now, as I said, there's nothing changed with the deck. It's the accessories that come with it. So now, obviously, this is flathead screws. So the version 2 do come with Phillips, and I do believe they do come with flatheads as well. Obviously, the glass bubble glass is more available. It wasn't back when the version 1 came out. There's minor changes to the box and stuff like that, but that's all accessory side. It's not about the actual RTA. The airflow on this is smooth. And to be fair, I'm running 0.16 ohm at 55 watts, and I'm on the second air hole. The vapor production is fantastic. The flavour off it is fantastic. Now, I have noticed, which I haven't seen in other people's reviews that mention this, I find creams and custards really pop on this tank. Not so much on the fruits, but more on the creams and custards. The actual like the creams come out and the custards come out, really are popping on this tank. It's fantastic. Fruit ones, I think it's just the same old, but I think this performs better, in my honest opinion. Performs a lot better with the custards and creams. So I mean, I've now got on the biggest airflow, and if you don't get your coils right, you do get a little bit of a whistle. So as I said, my coils, I just put, so if you imagine the screw is going down onto your clamp, imagine the top of the screw is there, the top of the coil is at the bottom of the screw, type of thing. That's where I'd put my coils, that's where I have put the coils. I have left a slight gap in between the two coils for the middle airflow, or the middle line of the airflow. As I said, it's 5 rows of 6 holes in it, so the third row, if you like, the airflow is coming up on the inside of both coil, not where they butt up type of thing. But yeah, all in all, it's a great tank. Now these are, I do believe, on Nature Vape website. They're on SR Vapes website, and there was another vendor in the UK and I totally forgot. And I think they're priced up around $27.99. I will, however, put the link for Nature Vapes in, because they were the first to have it in the UK. Obviously, being friends with TVP, there must have been some kind of deal struck out, I don't know, but Nature Vape was the first company to have it in the UK. As for the US, I don't know any vendors that have got it. I know there are US reviewers that have gone out and brought it, but I couldn't tell you where they've brought it from. So I do apologise for that, for not doing my research. But yeah, all in all, I think it is a great tank. As I said, the main problem I had with it was being a 30mm is a bit of a big tank, but having big hands, I mean that's a G class, and obviously if you've got a G class, you know how big a G class is. I'm cupping that pretty well, and it doesn't seem out of place. After a while, the weight just sort of settle in. So yeah. But I would have loved to see it in a 25mm maybe, just so more mods can accommodate it, because there's not a lot of mods that can accommodate a 30mm tank. But yeah, I've talked enough about it already. Mark TVP, thanks for sending this in. I did win it, I didn't buy it, but thanks for sending it in, and thanks for signing the box. The box and the tank, when I finish using the tank, will go on the shelf. Obviously I won't be getting rid of it because it's been signed and stuff. It's just that's my personal thing. But yeah, thanks for sending it in. I want to see what else you've got. I want to see a RTA. No, that is an RTA. I want to see an RDA. Maybe the small pig. Obviously the FP, I'm not going to say what it is. We all know what it is if you're on Mark's group on Facebook. So yeah. But yeah, I've been TBD. If you like what you've seen, give me a thumbs up. If you don't like what you've seen, give me a thumbs down. If you want to see more reviews, and I have been lazy on reviews, I will say that, for the last month and a half, 2 months, because of personal issues. If you want to see more reviews, give me a subscribe, or don't, totally up to you. But yeah, until the next one, take it easy.